The following is a Stars and Strikes doubles rebroadcast featuring some of our most memorable recent programs.
WNDS Sports and Tri-State Megabucks present Stars and Strikes doubles. From the Londonderry Bowling Center, Stars and Strikes doubles features the best Candlepin bowlers from around New England in team competition. Stars and Strikes doubles is produced in conjunction with the New Hampshire Candlepin Bowling Association. And now your hosts, Doug Brown and Dan Murphy.
Hi, everybody, and once again, welcome to the Londonderry Bowling Center for Stars and Strikes doubles here on the Winds of New England. I'm Doug Brown, along with my partner, Dan Murphy. Welcome once again. It's championship week today, and then, of course, tomorrow in singles competition. And, Dan, the great thing about this game is sometimes somebody will come up from the bottom of the ladder and win a whole bunch of matches in a row and get hot, and things will be very surprising. And then other times, it goes right according to form, depending on how the roll-off turned out. That's what's been happening so far in this series.
And I think John and Dave would like it to continue that way because they're the top seed coming in. But we got our 1 and 2 seeds, and I guess that's the way it's supposed to happen. And we'll see what happens today. But got two interesting teams matching up today.
All right, let's meet them. First of all, our number 2 seeded team from Needham, Massachusetts, Reggie Deline. His partner is from Somersworth, New Hampshire, Pat Pay.
Okay, Reggie comes in averaging 120, 673 is roll-off score. Pat Pay's at 127 and 667.
Last week, Pat and Reggie came up with a 375 in the semifinals to knock off Dan Broder and Phil Clough. And so now they will try and become the only team in this series to win 2 matches in a row as they face off in the championship match against our top-seeded team from Goffstown, New Hampshire, John Maffeo. His partner from Hampstead, New Hampshire, Dave Arsenault.
Okay, John comes in averaging 125. His roll-off score, the top one in the roll-off, 689, and Dave Arsenault's 124 and 684.
All right, of course, $800 to the winning team today, $400 to the runner-up team, but of course, in addition to that, we have to keep an eye on the winning score because our winning team automatically qualifies for the Tri-State Megabucks Doubles Tournament of Champions coming up in the spring. So we'll tell you more about that as the hour goes on, but we've got 3 strings of Scotch Doubles format bowling coming up, and we're going to get this match started right after we have these words. Don't go away. All right, before we get to the bowling here on Championship Week, let's just review how the 10 bowlers got here during the final roll-off, which was held at Lamprey River Lanes in Newmarket, New Hampshire. The top 10 in order. From number 1, John Maffeo, and his partner today, Dave Arsenault, trying to defend that number 1 spot. Then Reggie Deline and Pat Pay qualified as the number 2 team. Remember, the bowlers do qualify individually, though, even in the doubles roll-off, and then they're paired together afterwards. And then 5, of course, Dan Broder was paired with number 6, Phil Clough, and on down the line we went. But it's been the top-seeded bowlers that have won each time. Here's a look at the 5 teams, and we are left with the top 2 teams for the championship match. $800, as I mentioned, to the winner, plus the automatic spot into the Doubles Tournament of Champions. So we are all set to go to start this championship week. We're glad you could join us, and this should be a lot of fun. Pat Pay will begin our match. With a half Worcester. Takes 3 more out of the middle. And a 7. Last week in their 375, Pat Pay and his partner Reggie Deline threw 12 marks. 9 spares and 3 strikes. They didn't really bunch them together that much, though. Kind of scattered all over the score sheet. They did have a 144 opening game, though.
The 3-4-7 looking at Pat here, trying to... It'll be no spare, 2 open frames to start with, and probably 17, that's what it is.
singles championship tomorrow at noon here on the Winds of New England. It'll be number 3 seed John Patorsky trying to make it 3 in a row as he will face our number 1 seed Bob Kelly. John Patorsky last week, of course, knocked off Pat Pay in the semifinals, in case you missed it. Great match. 7 pins, the difference. You're looking at John Maffeo. And he's looking at that.
Well, looks like that wood is angled right for the 10 pin.
Yes,
it was.
Not a bad shot to have your first box of the day. Everything kind of lined up. John with a 7 fill. John was with us in the last series here on Stars and Strikes Doubles. He came in with the number 4 seed that time with his partner Randy Jarvis, and they lost a tough match in the opening round. Near mark there.
And quickly, it's a 10-pin advantage for Maffeo and Arsenault.
It's Reggie Deline. Reggie's on the head pin, and he'll touch them all.
Six on that 1-2 pocket, and the 5 pin, the last one to go over. This time, a little too full. Pick up Reggie's footwork. That first step is almost non-existent. He just kind of rocks. Interesting style.
Yeah, that's right. It really is only 2 steps if you discount that first little baby step. And now our very first look at Dave Arsenault.
Dave, first time with us.
And some of you may be wondering, no relation to Ed Arsenault from Bradford, Mass., who's been on the program before. And there's the spare for Dave.
Pretty good start.
Like
First time with us.
Yeah, like his partner John Maffeo, he put up a mark in his first box, and Dave now slides over, except going to have a slight delay while Cindy Sissom removes a loose pin from lane 30. Gives me a chance to tell you a little bit about Dave. He is from Hampstead, New Hampshire. He works as a printer for Crown Cork and Seal Company. Does a lot of his bowling at the Park Place lanes in Wyndham, and Dave has 4 children, I beg your pardon. David Jr., Alicia, Brian, and Jill. Filling a spare here, and catches a break, takes 7.
And he's looking now at the 1, 2, and 8. Oh.
Wow. Looked as if he had it.
Another good crowd on hand. As you can see some of them in that shot.
And the 10 for Dave. So the lead is now 14 for Maffeo and Arsenault here in the early going. Pat Pay now having split his 2 matches last week with us, winning here in doubles and dropping the singles semifinal, now with an overall record of 23-10. 23-10, Pat Pay here on the wins. That'll win you the Cy Young.
One, 6, 8, and 10.
Off target. $7. So that's 2 $7 already for Pat. John Maffeo. And almost just leaving the 5-pin. And the 10. Let's see what happened on that miss. It's a near miss.
Well, everything happened except the 5-pin didn't go down. Everything else happened exactly the way you wanted it. Off target right this time, but...
Well, at least he'll have something to shoot at. The 1, 2, and an 8. That piece of wood in the front is away from the head pin. He's got a clear shot at the head pin.
Ooh.
But doesn't get it anyway.
The wood deflected the ball and the pins away from the 8-pin.
And there's the 10. But gaining 3 more in count off the 7 box. So as you see, the lead now 18 for Maffeo and Arsenault. And Reggie, that close to another strike.
Yep, he may have a... I was going to say a roadblock, but he's got a nice little guide now. Oh, and it was a roadblock. He went too far left and deflected the ball away from the 5-pin.
$10 for Reggie. Again, the scores to keep in mind, the 3 teams that have already qualified for the Doubles Tournament of Champions. Ed Gerolman and Brian Fuller with a 430, which is going to be very tough to beat. Bob Kelly and Larry Valcourt have a 381. And then 4 weeks ago, the last team to qualify, Stan Mayo and Scott Richardson with a 347. So there's a wide spread right now between, or among the 3 teams that have already qualified. Dave Arsenault. All the bowlers seem to be having a little trouble finding the head pin, except for Reggie.
It's been that way for the last several weeks, really. I mean, the bowlers have been making their spares, but for something to be really on the head pin hasn't really been happening.
Fine 10 box there.
I've yet to leave a pin standing. All 10s plus 2 spares with 7 on both of them. So you want to be on that head pin with that first ball.
There it is, right through the heart.
Go after the 6 and 9, I would assume. Hopefully to the right of the 6 pin.
Oh, fine effort.
He went after the 4-7. The only thing with that strategy, you had to have something come forward for the 6 pin. Did get the wood to move forward, but
and it's a 9 box. So a little drought here. No marks since the 3rd. Maffeo and Arsenault continue to hold the lead. Pat Pay is on the head pin, and he carries the extra pin.
he certainly did. That was flush on the head pin.
Well, let's see what the wood does now.
Reggie trying to direct traffic for Pat.
He's able to carry it. Using the right side wood, staying away from the cap that was facing him. That's the first spare for Reggie and Pat, and it's just 2 on the fill. So they had 2 marks, Dan, and they're going to be under 100.
Yes, and one of them being a strike.
3 7 boxes in this game for Reggie and Pat, a 97. And an opportunity for John Maffeo to pad the lead.
Well, makeable spare with the wood position the way it is. 2, 4, 6, and 10. It looks like if he's on the 2, he should be able to carry this.
Yes.
Spare in the 9th. 103 plus the bonus ball. Watch the wood do all the damage on the 6-10.
And John lost that one to the right.
At 5, so that's going to increase their lead.
And he's able to convert it. Back-to-back spares. 4 spares for the team. 118 plus a ball. Chance to get the lead up to 30 with a big fill. Won't be that high. Another 5 fill, a 123. So a 26-pin advantage for Maffeo and Arsenault here in the championship match after 1 game with 2 to come, and we'll be back in a minute. Game 2 underway in a moment, but first a reminder about the Salem Boys and Girls Club Bowl-a-thon, which will be next Saturday, January 29th at Park Place Lanes in Wyndham, which of course is where we tape Stars and Strikes. And Dan and I are going to be involved in the Bowl-a-thon this year. If you'd like to get involved and actually bowl next Saturday, there's still time to do that. You should stop by Park Place Lanes for details. But if you'd like to participate through the mail, you can do that too. And you can support either Dan or myself at the same time. We are going to bowl 3 games against each other to help raise money for the Salem Boys and Girls Clubs. We're happy to be a part of the Bowl-a-thon this year. And we'd like you to be a part of it too. So put a friendly little wager, if you will, with your charitable contribution on who you think will win this match, Dan or myself, and pledge an amount per pin for one of us, or pledge a flat amount in one of our names. Be sure and put Dan or Doug on your envelope, though, and send it on into Bowl-a-thon, Park Place Lanes, Route 28, Wyndham, New Hampshire, 03087. Be sure and include your name and address so that we can send a pledge envelope out to you if we have to, and also send you a copy of our 3 strings. So that you'll know exactly how we did.
I'll mail out the 3 strings.
Oh, big strike.
I don't trust you.
Dave Arsenault starts the middle game with the big one. First strike for the team. They already lead by 26.
That was a quick strike, too. Double?
Well, he got the 7-pin out, which is good news for Dave.
Got a double all right, not quite the kind I was talking about, but he leaves the 9 and the 10. Looks like if he goes just below the red line, the ball should take the 10 and the wood take the 9. Yes.
Oh, yes. Spare on strike. You called it. Right there. No need to fool with that wood up front.
Absolutely not. Reggie's really got to mount some offense right away now.
Oh, my.
Boy, 1 in the 5.
Boy, did a nice job cutting that 2-pin over, but it didn't knock anything over.
It's a good effort, but nothing to show for it.
Nice 10 box, though. That's an outstanding 10 after punching out the 1 and the 5. 10 almost as good as a mark right there. Back on the head pin. This time a better result. The 9-pin.
That wood is, you can see a lot of daylight between the 9. You got to watch out.
Whoa, playing it way down at the end for the spare. Third mark for the team. But Maffeo and Arsenault are in command, at least for the moment, leading by 36.
Oh boy, big 9 on the spare. And just the 5-pin to make it 3 in a row.
Yes, sir. Right on it. Solid start in this second game by Maffeo and Arsenault to build on the lead. John Maffeo from Goffstown and his wife Janet have 3 children, another 9 drop. John III, Michelle, and Paul. John works as the sales manager for a New Hampshire stamping company. Does a lot of his bowling at the King Lanes in Manchester, and that is 4 marks in a row for the team. Making this game look easy all of a sudden. That's a 6 fill for Pat Pay on Reggie Deline's spare.
3, 6, 10, and the 7 pins.
And an 8. So the lead mounting for our number 1 seeds.
No sign of them letting up at all. Start out with 4 consecutive marks. Pat Pay missing the headpin to the left.
We're about halfway through this championship match from the Londonderry Bowling Center. Come back and join us here on Stars and Strikes Doubles for the rest of the action. Right now, Maffeo and Arsenault in the lead. We'll be back. Well, Dave Arsenault and his partner John Maffeo have 4 marks in a row to start this middle game. He's filling a spare right now. Loses it a little bit off to the right, but not too bad considering. That piece of wood will have to be checked.
That's going to be close. The 1, 7, and 9. Close, I mean close to being out of play.
And I believe it is out of play. Yes. Cindy Sissom will remove it. And that'll give Dave a clean shot at the head pin here. Question remains, will this go? Let's see. No, just missed.
So that'll stop the streak of 4 consecutive marks starting the second game. But they're already at 75 through 4. Make it 83, I should say, through 5. Wow. At 2:06, halfway through the match.
That's a number to keep in mind.
That's right.
As we get concerned about the final score later. One thing would appear certain. Great spare there by Dave. Oh, my. One thing would appear certain, Dan, and that is whether John and Dave win or not, the final score is going to be a pretty good one. Because in order to catch them, Reggie and Pat would have to come up with a big number. Well, there's a spare leave for Reggie Deline. Oh, got it with the ball coming back. We were just all groaning at his bad luck, and then the ball came back.
He was too far left. So he snapped the pin off the left side, right sidewall in front of the 10 pin, but then the ball came back. Sometimes that's enough to get the team going.
The unusual thing about that, Dan, was the ball bounced out of the channel, which you don't often see. It came right down and hit in the channel and then bounced up.
Tripped out the 10 pin there. Gives himself the 7 drop, and oh boy, just took out the 2 pin on the 2, 4, and 7.
So it'll be a 10 box for Reggie. John Maffeo on a spare. Dropped 6. No, they are really cooking right now.
They certainly are.
Maffeo and Arsenault, 6 marks in 7 boxes in this game. That is 115 through 7 now.
1, 2, 4, and 9. No wood to help.
And an 8. A rare open box for the number 1 seeded team. Pat Pay, right in the pocket. And will it go? Yes.
He heard his partner Reggie. Come on, Pat, throw a double. Certainly would be a welcome sight to the team of Pat Pay and Reggie Deline.
Let's see.
No, too full that time. Ball broke a little bit sharper than normal and caught the head pin too flush, and just the 5 and 7 fill on the strike.
Well, we come down to the final 2 boxes now of this middle game with, as you see, Maffeo and Arsenault with a seemingly commanding lead. There's still time, though. They have led from wire to wire. Maffeo and Arsenault had a 10-pin lead in the first box of this match, and they've built on it from there, and watch out, that'll be a 9. 9 drop for Dave with the 4-pin for a spare. Mentioned Dave Arsenault, Dan, making his first appearance here on the Winds of New England, but he looks very loose, very sharp.
Yeah, he certainly is impressing a lot of people right now. Off target that time, but still a 4 on the spare. Already at 137.
And have a good total for 2 games. And a big lead as well. Barring something really big happening from Reggie Deline here. 146 for a 269 2-game total. Well, Reggie sets himself up with a possible spare leave. He's got to be careful of that wood, though.
Yeah, it really does. Almost like he's going to shoot at the 9-pin and nudge the wood. Or right on the cap. Oh, he's going to hit it a second time. Ooh.
That's one way of doing it.
Didn't think he caught enough of the wood at first, but just enough to swing around and get the 9-pin from behind.
Problem with Reggie and Pat, though, is that they have not been able to string any marks together. They've had no back-to-back marks yet in this match. And they still don't. $10, 122, a 2-game total of 219. So Maffeo and Arsenault in command, but there's 1 game to go here to decide the championship on Stars and Strikes doubles. Pat Pay starts game 3. And again, on the head pin, but not the best break.
No, it's 3-6, and of course the 4-pin. Not shots you'd want to shoot at when you're 50 pins behind.
Don't forget, tomorrow the singles championship at noon. It'll be John Patorsky against Bob Kelly, the winner of that match to move into the singles tournament of champions. And there's a spare for Pat.
Something to build on. 4 horsemen plus the 9. Kicks the 7-pin out of there.
Team of Maffeo and Arsenault changing the order here in game 3 as Dave will roll the extra 2. No.
Just a 10. 52 pins, the advantage for Maffeo and Arsenault.
Next week, of course, we begin a brand new series. And there's a big strike. Only the second strike of the match for the team.
Well, they switched the order, and I think they knew what they were doing. Solid 9-pin drop, missed a single, but he came right back in the pocket again, this time with the strike.
Both of the strikes for Dave Arsenault, by the way. That's an 8 fill for Reggie Deline on Pat Pay's spare. But again, they miss a chance to put back-to-back marks together. Started to say next week, brand new series next Saturday. We'll have 5 brand new teams on Stars and Strikes doubles, and a week from tomorrow, Super Bowl Sunday, we will begin our annual mixed doubles competition on Sunday at noon. That's a week from Sunday, January 30th. Enjoy this week, enjoy this year with only 1 week between the conference championships and the Super Bowl, because next week they go back to the old 2 weeks of hype format.
But we don't. Action every week.
That's right. Oh, great shot. Great shot. Finesse there by John Maffeo. Spare on strike.
I'm not sure that's what he had in mind when he let the ball go, but it worked.
Oh, my.
Make it count.
Oh, my. Well, it's getting close to time now where we're going to be looking at the final scores here, because Maffeo and Arsenault show no signs of slowing down. And we may even want to take a look at that top score again and see what's happening. We'll do that as we finish up this championship match in a minute. All right, Pat Pay.
Watch out.
Let's
Watch
see.
out.
Oh, just missed it. Boy, if they get a break, it would be their first one of the day, I think.
Pat's going to go at the pin, or yes, right at the pin. Didn't even look like he thought about the wood. It was in my mind as soon as I saw it. Well, can't seem to get it, as you said. Back-to-back marks.
8 marks for the team, but none of them back-to-back. And again.
$69-6, but the story is on the other side of the ledger right now. Strike, $10, strike, spare, and then strike for the team of Arsenault and Maffeo.
On a strike, Dave drives through the middle. Well, the score they're shooting at, remember, is 430. Ed Gerolman and Brian Fuller. Oh my, what an effort Dave put on that. How did the 3-pin stay up? In order for John and Dave to take over the top seed for the moment, they would have to throw a 172. Beg your pardon, a 162. 162 is what they would need. How does that pin not go over?
I don't know. Oh, spread eagle.
They have already passed Maffeo and Arsenault, the score of Stan Mayo and Scott Richardson, and they would seem a pretty sure bet to go by Bob Kelly and Larry Valcourt. And with the lead 67, it would appear pretty safe at this moment. But it is going to take a big finish to get that 162.
Right now they're at the 126 clip, so they would need 4 pretty big marks.
Oh, nice out for Reggie. All happening a little too late, though.
That one got away from Reggie to the right. Back in the pocket that time, but still no mark. I think we're all going to start scoreboard watching now.
Well, they only need the 113 to move beyond Kelly and Valcourt. That would seem a lock. And with marks possible, they could still get up to that 162. So you never know. 4 big marks would do it. They would not need a double strike.
Got a possibility of one here.
There's one. Actually, to be exact, 4 marks, each with 9 on it, would do it. That would be 162 exactly. Oh, there's 10.
Now he only has to get 8 on one.
Still alive. Still alive for that.
And the way Dave Arsenault's been throwing the ball, and I'd like to throw another strike on top of that, that would certainly pass it. They're at 385 right now in the 8th, but they have bonus balls coming on that strike plus 2 full boxes.
$16 marks already for Maffeo and Arsenault.
That 7-pin, I think, jumped right up in the air and never fell down. But a little too late now.
All right, well, the excitement here in the last 2 boxes is to see if Dave Arsenault can help his partner overtake Ed Gerolman and Brian Fuller's 430, which we thought would be pretty safe, but maybe not. It'll take 2 more marks. Oh, my. Remember, this is on a strike, so he can still bail out of this, although without a mark, that would make it tough in the 10th.
I need a bunch of strikes in the 10th.
And actually, even that won't be enough now, as it's a 7 bucks. So 130. The best they could do is 160. So it'll be the second seed, at least temporarily, for Maffeo and Arsenault. But boy, they gave that 430 score a run, didn't they?
Certainly did.
It won't look as close when the match is over because of that 7 bucks and a possible open, and there is the open here in the 10th, so it won't look that close, but 2 marks, 2 full marks there in the last 2 boxes would have done it. Instead, it's a 7 and a 6, a 136, and a 3-game total, 405. Still an outstanding triple for Maffeo and Arsenault, and again, the higher seed wins all the way through. Form holds in this series on Stars and Strikes doubles. We'll be back to award the prize money and talk about tomorrow's championship match in a minute. Don't go away. Well, one half of this championship weekend now in the books, and again, form holds, and boy, John Maffeo and Dave Arsenault picked up right where they left off in the roll-off, pretty much.
Yeah, they bowl well, and I just said to Pat, not much you can do about that. He says, well, when you bowl bad, that's what you get. So he knew they wasn't real sharp, but they were extraordinary today.
Again, that just goes to show also what a good score that Ed Jerome and Brian Fuller 430 is, because John and Dave really put a lot of marks up. They were throwing strikes, and they had a solid triple, and yet they were still 25 pins behind it.
Yeah, and when you come right down, they were 1 mark away. If they could have got up and thrown the double strike or another spare, kept them alive, but that's a tough score.
All right, we're going to talk a little bit more about this, but first of all, let's award some prize money. First of all, to Reggie Deline and Pat Pay. Come on up, guys. We have second place prize money for you, which is splitting $400. So Pat, there for you, and Reggie for you.
Thank you.
And well, we've seen it happen to so many teams in this series. Up 1 week, down the next.
Oh, they bowl well and we bowl lousy. That's it right there. I mean, you can't bowl one mark at a time and don't do any good.
What is it? What changes it like that? Have you figured that out all the years you've been bowling? Nobody else has. So.
No, I haven't figured out anything. They did bowl good. We just bowled lousy. Second match.
Yeah, maybe the weather, Dan said. The weather had something to do with it, maybe. Well, again, congratulations, guys. And Pat, once again, good to see you after a lengthy absence. And Reggie, we hadn't seen you in a while either, so good to see you again. And we look forward to seeing you guys again real soon, all right? Thanks very much. Congratulations. And now John Maffeo and Dave Arsenault, our champions. Dave, congratulations. First time with us. Your check, and John, your share of the $800 first prize money, and I would say you split that pretty much equally. It was a good partnership, everybody chipping in, strikes all over the place, and just like the roll-off, right?
Yeah, John bowled well and just good team effort.
Obviously, you looked very comfortable here first time and didn't seem to have any problems at all.
A little nervous at first, but picked up the first mark and it helped.
Right.
It helped.
And of course, having a veteran partner helps too, as well. A guy who's been here a lot. John, congratulations.
Thank you very much. It feels good. They went real well today, but Reggie and Pat didn't have any breaks either. So we bowled well. So we'll take it gladly.
Were you guys aware of the 430 there at the end and how close you were to it?
Yeah, pretty much so.
Yeah.
But hey, we'll go after him in the championship round.
That's right.
That's something you kind of think about after you pretty much have the match wrapped up.
Yeah. Well.
You may see those guys, though, in the finals. 2 400 triples. Now we only have 2 teams left to qualify because you guys become the 4th team. So a couple of 400s, those may stand up. You never know.
Sounds good to me.
Congratulations again for a great effort. This last round of applause is for you, and we'll see you in the Tournament of Champions. All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. And that will do it for this session here on Stars and Strikes doubles, but we do want to remind you one more time about the Bowl-a-thon coming up next Saturday at Park Place Lanes in Wyndham. Again, it's the annual Bowl-a-thon to raise money for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Salem, New Hampshire. The event has been going on now. This is the 8th year. Over $100,000 has been raised. And this year, Dan Murphy and I are happy to participate as we are going to try and raise some money as well. And the address you see on the screen there, you saw it a moment ago, Bowl-a-thon with either Dan or Doug. You want to support one of us as we bowl 3 strings against each other in this Salem Boys and Girls Club benefit. And then send your pledge in or your pledge per pin amount in to Park Place Lanes, Route 28, in Windham, New Hampshire, 03087. And we're getting close to the time here. It's next Saturday, so it's put up or shut up time.
That's right. One of us is going to lose, but the boys and girls clubs, everybody wins.
That's right. And as I've been encouraging everyone all along, of course, if you're pledging money per pin for me, you should probably pledge a little bit more. That way, the amount. That way the amounts hopefully will be somewhat even, because we're going to try and see who can raise more money. So again, when you send in your envelopes, please be sure and indicate Dan or Doug and mail them into Bowlathon, care of Park Place Lanes. And if we have to send you a pledge sheet so that you can know how much to send in, we'll be able to do that. Be sure and include your full name and address. Well, again, one doubles championship now already decided, and now we move toward tomorrow's singles championship. What do you think about that one? John Patorsky going for 3 wins in a row, and he'll face number 1 seed Bob Kelly.
Now, Bobby's been there so many times and hasn't made a winner. You think it's due, but John has been bowling so good. It should be a great match.
All right, that'll be tomorrow at noon here on the Winds of New England. Don't forget, next Saturday and Sunday, we'll be back here with brand new series. First of all, of course, here next Saturday at noon from the Londonderry Bowling Center on Stars and Strikes doubles. Until then, don't forget our championship match tomorrow. For Dan Murphy and the whole crew, I'm Doug Brown. Have a good weekend, everybody.